So we all know me. I'm a very outspoken, very loud guy. I like to talk, right? This is not news to anybody listening to the podcast.
Shit.
Yep, it's not news to anyone in this room either.
Yeah.
So I was in a copyright seminar a couple of weeks ago, and I like to banter, right? And I like to banter in these like lectures and these tutorials and all that kind of stuff as well. But for this one particular reason, I just wasn't feeling banterous this day, right? And normally I speak to like the people around me. I don't annoy the class, right? But when there's break time, I jump in on the banter, right? And I banter before the class as well. But for this 1 week, I was just there and I was kind of just sitting and I was just taking notes. It's semester's kicking into the gear. I figure, I got to kick into the gear. So I'm doing that, and it goes to about like 2 hours in, right? It's 2 hours of a 3 hour kind of seminar. 2 hours in, and we get like we get break time. Now, the break time hits, everyone kind of gets up, they either go get coffee or they just chill. Now, the girl in front of me, who I normally banter with, I'm not going to drop any names, right? Girl in front of me literally turns around. I hadn't spoken to anyone in the entire class. Literally turns around in her seat, looks up at me, grabs me on the arm, and goes, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" She's like, "You have literally said nothing this entire class. Are you sick? Like, is something wrong? Are you hurt? Like, what are you talking about?" It's like, "Can I just..." She's like, "No, you can't just be quiet. You're David, right? Quiet doesn't exist in your like vernacular, all right?
No days off, Dave.
There's no days off." And I was dumbfounded. I'm sitting back and I'm just like, am I now at a point where I'm expected to talk? Am I expected to always just be speaking?
Well, I think
Can I not have quiet time?
I think if you're designated to be the loud person, I think you're naturally always expected to be the loud person.
Can you never break that mold though? Like some days I just feel like I want to break that mold. Like I just want to have a day where because there was a gimmick I was talking about with someone a few days ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself for Lent next year. For Lent next year.
All right.
Hold on. I'm going to challenge myself for Lent next year.
Wait, needs a second.
John's off the rails.
It's early. We've already brought up Lent.
I'm not going to use social media for 40 days.
Oh, fuck off. Bullshit.
Yeah, you couldn't deal with the drop in subscribers. You'd be like, no, what do they do without me? They need me.
I'm not going to openly, publicly banter for 40 days because people don't think I can do it.
Just give up wanking for 40 days. It'll be easy.
No, I gave up wanking for fucking 6 weeks. I'm never doing that.
No, you
again.
didn't. You gave up for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. No, well, I didn't wank beforehand as well. Look, okay, that's neither here nor there. That's a few episodes back, all right?
Oh, that's true. You didn't have a goodbye one.
If you didn't hear that David got a circumcision, I don't know if that was public knowledge or not.
It's called an adult circumcision.
Yes, it's an adult circumcision, all right? And you know what? I'm now an advocate for it. More people should get it.
But like, can I ask a question related to that? Because this is something that I've been thinking about for like a while since you announced it, and honestly, it's something that I've been worried about because I feel like a bad friend. Right, I really do, because I'm like, I feel like this is like a large enough occasion that I got to get you something for it. But what are some good gift ideas for an adult circumcision?
Well, I think
not a turtleneck. Don't remind me of what I've lost.
Yeah, that is true. Nothing ironic. Just stay away from real on the nose jokes. I think.
Yeah, right. So like,
lube.
Don't get a cake. Don't get a dick cake with a foreskin on it.
Anything that is designed
and then we
to
cut
keep
you off.
things warm, I think, is like a major thing.
Yeah,
like limbs that things that are designed to keep limbs warm. Nah, it's probably a bad reminder.
Yeah.
I would get you a turtleneck.
You would get me a turtleneck.
I was gonna say I was thinking maybe a tasteful.
It's not like you have it either.
Yeah, I know, but I got mine done when I was a baby.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect.
No, but he'd buy you a turtleneck and say, "Welcome to the club, brother."
That was the first. That was.
So this is how much the annual fees are going to cost you.
Yeah. He'd hand you your membership card at the same time.
Dude, it's a fucking good club to be in. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a new man. No, I know I've said this before. We're not gonna talk about my penis for this episode.
Like, fuck it. We'll start off with a sex conversation because we were talking about like, can you improv pillow talk? Or like, or is it just like, do people come up with stuff beforehand and that's just
what?
Because you get that. Oh, I like that, baby. Like that's real stock standard.
Now the
Hang
reason.
back it up. When you say pillow talk, are you talking like sexy time talk? Or are you talking just like?
Well, David,
No, you said pillow talk. So pillow talk is defined as like after sex banter.
Sex?
We're talking like in the moment banter.
In the heat of the action.
Because a dream of mine got achieved not too long ago.
Yeah, you're telling me about this.
I've officially been called Your Honor during.
Yeah. He convinced some poor girl out there. We love you, whoever you are. Well, actually, I don't know who you are, but we love you.
We love you.
I can't believe you actually convinced her to call you Your Honor. Like, that is just absolutely ballsy on your part, for one. You're not even a lawyer yet.
Hey, semantics. I'm a baby lawyer. I'm almost there.
To be fair though, do you reckon like that's like a real like judge kink? Like they're just like, oh, call me Your Honor, call me Your Honor, call me Your Honor. Like you reckon that's like a thing that they do? I feel like it's more common than we think.
It's a power thing, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like it plays into that power fantasy. Like I feel like it's
It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Ricky's staring me down. Like
I can just imagine you going into like,
It's weird picturing David in this situation.
Oh my
No,
god!
no,
do you
no,
reckon-
no,
Do you reckon he walks into the bedroom completely naked, but with just like the wig on?
Just holding a gavel.
that is my dream.
The wig
It's
and
just
a
like
gavel?
I
objection.
Sustained.
I just imagine you going
50
into
Shades of Litigation.
I just imagine you going into like knowing
We broke a John.
that you're going to be like, you know, hooking up because you've been doing a bit of prep, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
bit of pre-game. I can just imagine you preparing your post-coital pillow talk banter like you do preparing shit for this podcast.
I go into it with topics. Yes.
I had that thought.
You're like, I'm going to do this, and this. I'm going to try some stuff out tonight, and then I'm going to like go into these topics afterwards just to see where I'm at.
then you're gonna go
where-
post-
how we're feeling after.
I'm a planner, guys.
I know.
I'm a planner.
I am as well, but I'm not to that level.
I
yet.
can't let there be silence.
That's a good point.
And to be
feel-
fair, Dave,
yeah.
you seem like the kind of guy that loves to watch the playback. Like
Yeah.
you,
Oh, if
you
I had a
let's
cam-
go to system. Let's go to game notes and let's
Gotta- yeah.
let's go to the tail of the
Do you
tape and
guys
see what
not?
happens.
I like for like when I'm sleeping that night in order to go back to sleep. Like I'll go back through it and just go, okay, what could I have done better? Like,
Monday morning, you sit there, you watch the game film, you ice your balls, you get ready for the next week.
yes, Ricki gets me.
taking notes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now to bring this all full circle, what does all this cold open really mean, John?
Yeah, no. Like the big point we're trying to make with this cold open is that it's Lachlan's birthday. Happy birthday, Lachlan.
Happy birthday, Lockie.
Happy birthday,
Thanks.
buddy.
Is it actually your
guys.
birthday?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Aw,
When
happy
the episode
birthday.
comes out, it will be my birthday.
Aw,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. So
Thanks, guys.
everybody who's listening on the day this comes out, get at Lockie and tell him happy birthday.
At
Right.
Al Beasley.
Yeah, that's me. At L Baisley, that's me.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Big Bees.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Beasley.
Thanks, guys.
And with that,
Welcome to Pint Party, a podcast designed to turn a beer and a chat into a tax write-off. I'm your host, John McLeish, and joining me this week are the trio of gimmicks themselves, the Supreme Chancellor of Banner, David Young. David, welcome. His co-counsel, Lachlan Beasley.
John.
And their second
And-
chair,
and
Ricki
Ricki
Needs.
is, yeah.
Ricki, yeah.
Ricki
I need to
Harstein.
come up with a gimmick name for
Yeah.
myself.
Well, there's always
Eventually.
in groups of three, you've got like person A, person B, and the other guy, right?
and the other guy's a gimmick in of itself.
That's what I mean. Like you've got
You're
the
the
other guy
wild
gimmick.
card.
Yeah.
I did a desk pop.
Wild card, bitches.
Fuck, I watched that with my old man the other night.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Now,
Anywho.
this week is a bit of a week, right? Coming up this week, especially particularly here in Melbourne, right? We're reaching that one day in September, right? The AFL Grand Final will be upon us this weekend.
You can fucking smell it.
You actually can, like no joke.
There is a legitimate buzz in Melbourne when
Yeah.
it's footy finals,
yeah.
especially prelim.
Especially when it's two, if it's
Potentially.
if it seems like
Well,
it's going to be
yeah.
two local teams.
We know our result at the time of this recording. We
Yep.
don't know
Right.
the second result
That's
at
Yeah.
the time
right.
of this recording.
So just to make it clear, at the time of this recording, the match that's on today is Collingwood versus GWS Giants. That has yet to take place.
Yep.
But we do know that the results of yesterday's game, which was from Richmond versus Geelong, and Richmond took that away quite resoundingly, 85-66.
Yeah, boys.
Like that. Like that's not even like a close match. Like it's not
Well,
even like
okay,
It's not even like Brisbane, the Lions and
No, it was
GWS
back
the week
and
before,
forth,
80-83. Like that's a tight match.
I love you flexing with the scores right now.
19 points is still enough to give me the shits. Like, still
Yeah.
enough to make me fucking like shit myself from nervousness, which I was doing yesterday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
For
No,
my entire fucking shift at work, that I had to just sit there in the bar, and I could only like pay attention to half the game because I had people coming up and asking for drinks the entire time, and it's the worst. It is the worst way to watch football. Is like half watching it.
Yeah.
because like you'll hear a yell or a scream.
but you
or
had
like-
it up on the big screens.
It was on the big screen, but
Yeah.
the big screen at the bar I work at now is somewhat obscured by everybody in front of it.
Of course.
And where the score is, which usually with the Channel 7 broadcast is bottom left.
Yep.
The whole bottom left corner of the screen is obscured from the bar.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the fucking score was. There's no one at work last night was in their kit.
Mm-hmm.
It was just people. So I had no idea who was cheering for who. I worked it out by about half time based on like who scored goals. I'd sort of like observe who was cheering.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the worst way to watch football. Is like you're serving someone, you hear the crowd go nuts on the TV, then the crowd in the bar go crazy.
like
You're like, who fucking scored a goal?
It's like you're watching it through like secondhand watching.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was god awful, and I was shitting bricks. And yeah, if it's not obvious yet, I'm a Richmond supporter. But me and my boss were both Richmond supporters, and we were both just like, I was literally sweating, shaking, like I was white. Apparently, when I got to work last night. Like, I was that nervous because we lost this game last year. We lost the preliminary final, which is the one right before the grand final. I was there. We lost to David's team, which was...
Yeah, the Collywobbles. Go the
I
Pops.
hope you get a fucking state of the Collywobbles either this week or next week.
Oh, we got our Collywobbles out last grand final.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. Not going to happen again.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm stoked, and yeah, especially if it's going to be Richmond Collingwood.
Will it be the biggest grand final in history?
I think so, yeah.
Like straight up. Just like straight
It
up.
is legitimately the two biggest clubs in the entire league. This is like the bloody Packers and Patriots playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
This would be like
fucking-
Lakers Celtics going at it in the NBA finals.
Yeah, Lakers
like,
Celtics in like the 80s or
Yeah.
90s. That's the level of what this is.
Who was Collingwood playing that year when they had to they drawed?
St Kilda. That was.
Kilda.
I remember that because I watched both matches because
'cause I remember going-
I'm a Saints supporter and I was like shitting bricks the whole time. Like I understand where Ricky's coming from because I was watching the grand final. I was at my mate's house and
Is this Collingwood St Kilda?
Collingwood St Kilda.
Oh, I was 2010.
Yeah,
2010.
yeah,
I
2010
was
or
there.
11.
That fucking draw.
Yeah.
Get fucked. Were you seriously
I
there?
was there. I was
Shit.
watching, and then the draw because it was
Wait,
the one
match
where
number one. You were there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't get match number two.
Yeah.
That's the stupidity of it. is
Okay,
that they
okay,
did a
so-
fucking second week.
So in Australia, for Australian rules football, it's the dumbest thing ever. If there's a draw, there's no such thing as OT.
Yeah.
They play the game again next week.
Oh, we'll just start
They've
again, boys.
gotten rid of that though, haven't they?
No.
They still have that.
For the final series, so for the semis, eliminations, and preliminary finals, they do a extra like 5 minutes. For the grand final, you still play it next week.
Yep.
Fuck, that's so goddamn
They do a
cheeky.
replay.
But that fucking spoil at the start of the second game.
Oh,
Oh,
fucking beautiful.
all time.
Heath Shaw.
That's how you knew
What a
it was
guy.
going to be the Collingwood's fucking flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I knew it was going to be. Collingwood's game. Like
The Saints were a
3
strong
days
side in
before.
2010 though. Like
No,
they were a strong
oh,
side.
We had a beautiful run the entire season.
They
It really
went,
did.
You went like 20-1.
Yeah, it was like
that season
yeah,
or the
it was a
season
clean
before.
it was a clean run the whole way through the season. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. We hadn't seen that for decades prior, right? And then we get to the finals, and it was a strong grand final. That's why it drawed, like because Collingwood was a strong team that year as well. But the problem was that St Kilda left absolutely everything on the field. They didn't save anything in the tank because it's the grand final. You don't. You don't. Right? So when you come next week, you're fucked.
Yeah, because
There's
you don't
nothing in the tank.
expect there to be a next
Precisely,
week.
exactly.
Is the
That's what I mean.
problem.
That's my point. Yeah, they left everything on the field, right? Where Collingwood still had a little bit more to give. They were just kind of lazy bastards, right?
At that point, it's kind of like coaching really comes into play at that point.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
your boys will lose the morale going, fuck, I got to do this again next week.
Yeah.
Like packed out stadium again for the grand final. That's
bring-
where like
bring in the
Malthouse really
exact-
stepped up.
Bringing the exact same energy the
Yeah.
week after.
Yeah, but I think a big part of that as well was also like coming from the fans because Collingwood fans went fucking ballistic, right? Whereas
As they want to do.
as they want to do. Where as St Kilda supporters, we're used to like getting the wooden spoon. So the fact that we got to the grand final at all was fucking beautiful. And then it was a draw, and it was like next week, and we're like, yeah, but oh god, I don't want to do this again next week.
We're gonna get
I was gonna
worked off
watch
again?
Yeah, I was gonna get the day off. I don't want to do that.
So as the biggest Richmond supporter in the history of Richmond,
Close to,
which side do you want to go up against? It's like from a competitive standpoint, you want Collingwood, don't you? You want them.
There is a huge story with either of these games. We lost to Collingwood in the prelim last year, so like the final step before the grand final. So getting that win back would be redemption. One of our greatest players of all time now plays for GWS, Brett Delidio. So playing, then again he's injured, so I doubt he'll be actually getting a game. But playing against GWS is also like, for those who don't know, GWS is trying to find a comparison.
Chelsea? Could you say like Chelsea FC?
Well, no, I'm trying to come up with a comparison of like a team that the league has manufactured from the ground up late in. So the AFL's been around for 125 years.
Yep.
GWS have existed for
They just needed
8 of those. Or
I'm
They
trying to
said-
think Toronto for the NBA might be something
That's
like
what-
They've been around for
A
like
kid.
25 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like GWS has always been such a story for like someone who isn't a fan.
Yeah.
To see like they only came into the league 2014.
No, I think it was like 2012. Oh, yeah, actually, might
Yeah,
be right.
2014.
Less than a decade is what we're
been
getting
less,
at.
It's been less than a decade, but this team.
And even shorter than that, they've kind of already been in contention for like the last
this is,
2-3
this is their,
years.
This is their 3rd prelim in a row.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that's such
Actually,
a turnaround.
They're 4th.
Because
Fuck, it is
like,
the
like
4th.
compared to another sport, like the Bobcats, I think is actually Charlotte Hornets actually for the NBA.
Yeah.
It's the only one I can think of is the
Yeah.
smaller, the newest team of that league,
Yeah.
and they haven't done fuck all in
Well,
like
if you think about
15 years.
they've moved. For NBA,
True.
they've moved teams because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah, yeah.
New Jersey, then they moved it to Brooklyn.
yeah.
Because they wanted Jay-Z to have the Brooklyn marketing behind it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they thought that was better.
But I'm talking about like a completely new franchise.
The last
Yeah.
time they built something, probably was Charlotte.
Yeah, it would be Charlotte back when they were Bobcats,
Yeah.
and like they've done fuck all for
Yeah.
15 years or
But,
whatever
like,
they've been
this-
there. Like,
The way they did this was they want the market in New South Wales
yeah,
because we don't. Because in Australia, there's 2 fucking footy codes, and they compete very heavily. Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia have AFL, and Queensland, New South Wales have NRL. And we're trying to get into that market, push in there, and get a bit of that market share. But this team, GWS, was manufactured from the ground up to win premierships by the AFL.
that is weird.
Because they got priority picks for the first 4 years they were in the AFL. So that means they got, no matter where they finished on the ladder,
They always got
they
like a
got
top five,
they got like
10.
top draft picks every single
I think
time.
that's fair though. Like it's
It
not to say
is-
it's
It's always like this
unfair.
idea of catch up. It's like what
Yeah,
we're giving them.
like
is-
these other teams have been here for over
Yeah.
100 years.
But the
like,
problem,
almost.
the
Like,
problem is now with that is once their rookie contracts or their early contracts are up, then they start to get paid more, and that's where you see a team like the Gold Coast, who it was the exact same thing just a year earlier.
I was going to say a Gold Coast Suns as well.
They got
like,
heaps of priority picks. They never did anything with them, and then all of a sudden, these guys, because they've been around for like 8 years now, all their really good early draft picks have become really, really good players. But when you have 20, top 10 picks on your team, you can't pay them all.
and they copped Ablett early too.
Yeah,
so
they
you
got-
figured
they
they got a star bloke on that team.
They had literally the son of God
Yeah.
on their side as well.
Yeah.
But like,
And
just do you want to where the Gold Coast Suns are, where they finished on the ladder?
They're
this year?
bottom, aren't they?
Wow. Last.
They finished 18th with 19 losses and 3 wins.
But
Yeah.
hey, he made some money.
yeah.
It's really a tale of just two ways of like approaching
yeah.
a new team.
But now
Like,
that the Gold Coast have like lost a lot of their players because the team couldn't afford to pay every single one of them a really big contract, we've been the beneficiaries of that. Their first 3 draft picks, the first year they existed, now all play at Richmond.
you're a side that's really come into it the last 6 years.
We're just
Like,
been molding
well,
slowly, mate.
That was
Yeah.
that was
you're like you're plugging at it. Richmond's just been plugging at it.
that was literally the story of like 2017. We had not won a championship or a.
Was it not the meme of the like last 10 years? Oh, Richmond finished 9th.
It's been
oh,
the-
Richmond finished
it's been a
9th.
meme.
Well, there was
20
like
20
we'd be
years,
on the
man.
cusp of like the 8
Yeah.
for who knows how long.
Yeah.
It was like Carlton Richmond would switch positions.
What
for
turned
years.
it over? What turned that over? Like
When
this,
did-
where this
when did
meme
Damien-
just
when did
died.
Damien Hardwick come in?
Dimmer, yeah, our coach. He
So
did-
a switch of a coach literally
Yeah, so
shifted
we
you
had-
from
we
a
had,
gimmick.
Yeah.
Who was before Damien?
it was Terry Wallace.
Terry Wallace. That's right.
Terrible.
Blah.
Love you, Terry, but you're not a good coach. So we got a new coach, a new play style, and then we did really, really well. We made
And then-
3 final series in a row.
And then Dusty hit his primo.
Yeah,
And then yeah, Dusty's when I know it came
but
into
we
like a
we bowed out in the first round of each of those finals, right?
yeah.
Then the year after that, 2016, we did terribly. We finished 13th. We got flogged by 100 points in the last game. And this was the big story. That preseason between 2016 and 17, they were going to
They had like a full. They had a full like internal club like
Yeah.
reformation.
They
where
were
got
gonna
rid of-
just
all the managers were gone. Like they got rid of all
burn
the
all.
PT. Everything was just dusted.
burn it all to the ground. They were going to like, all right, we're firing everyone and starting from scratch.
It's a classic Australian story because it's just like the Australian bush. Like you burn the whole thing back,
Yeah.
and then you let it all regrow.
Hopefully, it comes back nice
Comes
and green.
back, yeah. Exactly.
Richmond has
But-
been one of the best stories in
But
sports last
but
like
the one thing
10
they kept,
years.
One thing they kept was the head coach. And
Yeah.
the next year we finished. To this point, it's the greatest turnaround in I think AFL history. Is finishing 13th one year, and then the next year finishing like winning the whole thing.
Yeah, that
No
that
one's
was
ever-
fucking
It came out of
storybook
nowhere.
season.
If
That
you were on Sportsbet at the start before the start of the season, we were probably paying out like I think $58 to one.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Like, imagine putting $5 or $10 on that early this season, just
Yeah.
being a Richmond supporter, being like, "Oh, imagine if we won."
Well, just to put that in
And we
perspective,
Didn't that happen? The guy put that on a multi and like, or they were something tricking with a couple of there was some zeros or something.
No, it was
and,
just it was a Collingwood St Kilda match. Somebody bet on it being a draw with $5 and
Yeah.
won $800
Yeah.
on a
Jesus
$5
Christ.
bet.
I nearly did it. I remember that.
That was at the start of the season.
But you're
though, you put the
betting
money
on
in.
Richmond.
No. Like that year, 2010.
Oh, fuck off. No one looked at that and said draw, surely.
I remember. I went to the bottle shop to grab a slab before the grand final, and I walked past the TAB in Echuca, and I was like, "Fuck, I should put like $10 on the draw." And I was like, but these are getting warm. I got to get back to my mate's place, and walked off.
Think about where you'd be right now. 16 grand, 1,600 richer.
Woohoo! But yeah, so look,
I
it's
can't
finals
think-
time, baby.
It's finals time.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
was just
finals
there's a
time.
buzz in the air. I love this time of year.
Everyone's got a cheeky smile on their face. Everyone knows that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, they do.
This is
And-
where Australia stops for a week.
And
Like,
next
This,
week,
and I'd say it doesn't happen again until spring racing carnival comes back
Which
around.
Specifically in Victoria.
get
Specific-
fucked.
But we're all about AFL
Yeah.
of the month of September, and I tell you
Yeah.
what, it's funny that you kind of picking up a slab, Ricky. But like, what if you're invited to a footies day event?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you
Uh-huh.
bring?
You can bring a
Like,
slab.
you bring a slab?
I think no matter what,
bring a
even
slab.
even if they supply slab, you bring a
No,
slab.
yeah, just add to the stock.
You add
right?
to
Yeah.
the stockpile because this is like, the Victorian government has accepted it to be like, even if you're not a fan
Mate,
of
ever
the AFL,
since they
it's a
gave-
day off.
They gave you they've given you the Andrews government has given us a
Yeah.
public holiday the day before.
It's essentially
Yeah.
saying like, you follow AFL, you don't follow AFL, but it doesn't fucking matter. Like, this is Australian tradition.
We need a break. We
Take the
understand.
day
We'll
off,
give
and
you a
you
long
know
weekend.
you're getting on the sauce, right? It's essentially Australia Day Part 2 later in the year. All right,
Yeah.
it fucking is. And
the only
Australia Day is
time-
the exact same gimmick. You buy a slab no matter where you're going. All right.
I think the only time that like an actual sports event has caused alcoholism worse is probably the Bathurst, where they actually had to put a limit of how many slabs.
I've
you're
always
allowed.
thought that to be such a
You know-
beautiful
do
fucking gimmick,
do you know
though.
what
Like,
the actual legal limit for the Bathurst is 2 slabs per person.
that's fucked. That's fucked. You don't put an alcohol
It's
limit.
like it's 2 slabs per person a day, so you could like it's still ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like the most Australian rule ever. You can only drink 48
Mate, you
beers
can bring
a day.
you can bring enough to sit on. That's about it.
The,
Make yourself a
the
chair.
best thing about I've always wanted to make the pilgrimage to Bathurst because when I was a bit younger, I used to follow V8 supercars. Now I don't so much, but Bathurst, it was always like that's the pinnacle. That's like the big weekend in. Anyway, the pilgrimage to Bathurst is just like one of the holy grail things in Australian sport. Mm-hmm. One of the stories I heard was that when they introduced that limit on people, people would go because you camp on the hill.
Yeah.
It's such a communal thing. You just go and pitch a tent or have a caravan or whatever.
And it's not closed when Bathurst is on. It's like it's a public. It's a
That's
public
exactly
area.
right.
Yeah, you can go
so
there.
what
and,
people would do is they would pick out their camp spot early, go there, bury alcohol.
I heard they do that for festivals.
Yeah, festivals as well.
Festivals is a big one.
Like falls and stuff. people
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But they would go to Bathurst on the hill, find out roughly where they wanted to camp, and then bury alcohol. And then when they get there, they just dig it
There's
back up.
nothing technically illegal about that
No,
because
exactly.
it is public land.
Exactly. You
Like,
can go and do whatever you want
You
on the
can go
hill.
and dig some shit there. You can go bury whatever you want there. You can just call it geocaching, right?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
You
It's
just call it geocaching.
It's
And then when you
geocaching.
rock up to Falls Festival and you're inside the confounds of the ground, they don't own that land, so you can go dig the ground up as well.
That was always a funny thing I found about going to music festivals and stuff. I used to go every year to either Falls or Pyramid. And
I've got some stories I could tell you.
yeah, but we would pack the car full of stuff. We had all of our nice little hiding spots and shit. And then the first year I ever went, I had in my car. So we had 2 cars. We had my mate shooting my car. I had 4 slabs in mine hidden, and then he had all the bottles of straight hidden in his car.
How do you hide 4 slabs?
Okay,
you can hide a slab under a coat or something. But
I had a dual sub box. What I used to do was take the subs out of the sub box, invert them, and then put the slabs behind each, in the cavity behind the subs.
oh, that's cheeky.
And
Do you want to
then-
hear something even more impressive? But finish your story.
Yeah, and then I'd had another. I'd always take out the spare wheel, just praying I didn't get a flat. Another slab in that. And what I'd
you
do
can
is,
fit a slab in the
Yeah.
spare wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can. If you
Yeah.
unpack it,
yeah.
Oh shit.
And then what I'd do is on Commodores, the plastic trim on the inside of the boot, you could pop it out. It had these little plastic pop rivets, and so you can't lift up the top of the wheel well. So all I'd be to the security, I'm like, oh mate, the sub box is permanently affixed. I can't lift up the spare wheel well anymore. So he wouldn't even bother to check, and he's not going to check inside a goddamn sub box because it's permanently mounted. So I'd get him all my slabs that way, and then he would hide his in. He had a big XR6 turbo. So the air filter box was massive on that. So you just take the air filter out, put 2 bottles of straight, put the top back on the air filter. We'd get him that. the first time we went, there was drug dogs, or like sniffer dogs, like 4 cars ahead of us. And we were like, all right, we should be okay. Everything's in bottles and cans and shit. It's all good. But we were still kind of freaking out because there was shitloads of cops there.
Do they train sniffer dogs for alcohol? I thought it was just.
I think it's
mostly, just for like coke
mostly
and
just
heroin.
drugs and
It's
stuff.
mostly
but
for
they were,
drugs, but
anyone that got pings, they then like stripped the car.
Yeah.
So, but the car right in front of us got done.
Oof.
Did it? Was
And
it,
they just waved us through.
Was it a sussy? Was it a sussy car? Did it look like?
He had an XR6 turbo, bright orange Ute. I had a 99 lowered, rimmed, exhausted Commodore.
Your car is the sus one there.
Yeah, and I had I think I was still in my P plates at the time. So like, this is a fucking P plated Commodore that is just like everything cops love.
Yeah.
But we got waved through. But then once you're in, once the cops and the security at the gate have done their job, what you do inside there, they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a shit.
We
That's
got
the
there.
end of their jurisdiction.
There
got
is
there
nothing.
set up.
There is nothing funnier than when you pull into the camping ground of a music festival and you just see people run out with hammers and like screwdrivers and stuff, just pulling apart their cars, trying to get all their stock out of their vehicles.
I don't know any other culture that is committed to getting alcohol into a place that they shouldn't get alcohol than fucking Australians.
Yeah.
Like I don't hear Americans do this
No,
shit.
no,
like,
because Americans do it with cocaine. That's the
that's
difference.
true, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm honestly amazed that like American Border Patrol agents don't like get gigs in Australia to like train Australian law enforcement in like how to spot smuggling. Because I feel like the techniques you described are exactly the same techniques that Mexican cartels use to smuggle drugs over the border.
I thought about this stuff, man.
I just
thought
don't
about
think
it.
Australia cares.
My mate has a 2012 Hilux, and with the year that he went to BTV one year, and I remember the boy. So he's a tradie as well. So like when they opened the boot, there was like a lift section in the bottom. So there was like about, I'd say there's probably enough to fit a can's worth of room. So like essentially he like hollowed that section out. He like broke out the timber, pulled it out. So it was like
And it was just layer of cans.
And then no. He then built a drawer.
Oh, this is the
he
level of
custom-
commitment only
he
Australia
custom
goes
built a
into.
drawer, and it had wheelies, so like it fully like lift. So like essentially it was like a clip that was hidden, a panel that was hidden in the compartment. You'd open up the panel and then it'd slide out. So it'd be a drawer in the back.
Here is the alcohol,
And it'd
boys.
just be like 60 beers just wrapped, just like.
Yeah.
Only Australians.
Well, I mean, that's like, I've had another one similar to that. You all know Denny Ute Muster?
Yeah, of course.
No.
Yep.
Do you know Denny Ute Muster?
The Denny Ute Muster is a very Australian.
It's rednecks in
yeah.
Central. It's like it's
How big's
it's
your
utes.
Ute, mate?
They take utes
Yeah.
to a paddock in Deniliquin, which is above Echuca, and it's tiny, and then you just drink
Yep.
in the paddock.
And
with
you
your
might
ute.
you rev your Ute if you feel like it.
And you do doughies and
Yeah.
shit. And
You wear cowboy hats.
Shannon
That's
Hole
fun.
plays there.
I haven't lived in Australia yet.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Right,
and
so the
also
Denny
once
Ute
you're
Muster.
good and boozed, you then have sex in the back of your ute.
Yeah.
I think
With
you've
the
told
first
us
Sheila
about
you
this
find.
actually
Yeah,
before.
but like someone there I knew, they did very similar to what they had like I think it was like a Holden ute. And they fabricated. So, you know, like the back of a Holden ute is very like iconic. It's got like the ridges and stuff. Looks a very certain way. They fabricated a fake one, built it a can high, put it into the back of the ute, and then literally loaded an entire Holden ute tray with cans,
Oh damn.
and then just like put the fabricated thing on top, and then like if you open it up, it looked exactly like
so-
the back of a Holden ute.
Just
But
for the
just like this, like it's just a little bit shorter, but no one's ever going to really notice it.
It'd just be a
Think
black.
about it.
It'd just be a black plastic canvas. You'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like no one's
Yeah.
really going to go be like, oh, that's about 6 inches shorter than it should
you
be.
wouldn't-
Like
you wouldn't feel the dents or the ripples of the cans or anything because it'd just
No.
be
Yeah.
fabricated to be flat.
yeah.
And it looked exactly like the back of a Holden ute.
Yep.
And they got in, and I think the back of a Holden ute, they said hold like 140 odd beers.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love Australia.
This is the level. But like that's the thing. In America, in Coachella, you can just bring alcohol to Coachella.
yeah. Oh,
That's the difference. We have to think of this shit. They don't have to.
Yeah, but
But
Americans
trust us to use our critical thinking aspects of our brain to be like, how the fuck am I going to get alcohol into this place?
That's the thing. Americans don't drink to the same extent that we do. Like when they bring booze, they probably bring in like half a slab. Let's be honest,
Like-
and it's half a slab of Bud Light too. You know what I mean? Like
Which is
it's-
essentially half a slab of water.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, that's the thing with Coachella. People that go there to do drugs, they don't go there to drink.
exactly.
When
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
especially when I've spoken to Australians who have lived and studied over in America,
Hmm.
they've said that their drinking culture more centers around spirits rather like they'll sip on beers, but they're not going to scull beers. Like
Yeah.
they're going to get smashed off.
But that's-
vodka or
Yeah.
whiskey or something.
That's
Whereas
because
we
the
just
alcohol content
fucking
is
send
lower.
'em
of beer. Like the alcohol content in beer is lower there, so they'll do what's called a Boilermaker, and they'll drop a shot of whiskey into a beer to give it the alcohol strength. This is a thing that happens. It's a regular thing in England as well. They do the same thing for the same reason. Now you got to be careful though if you're a British person coming to Australia, because my grandfather, right, he was a drinker in Scotland. Right, and so after World War II, he immigrated to Australia, and he'd been in pubs. He worked in pubs. His father had worked in pubs. His grandfather had worked in pubs. He knows how to drink. He knows drinking culture. So he goes to the pub in Australia. He says, "G'day, mate. How you going?" Right, in a Scottish accent. Says, "Give me a beer and a shot of whiskey." And the bartender's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah. Give us a pint and a shot of whiskey. Like, no worries." The bartender's like, "All right, fuck it. I'm not your mother." Hands him the pint, the shot of whiskey, and according to my granddad, that's the last thing he remembers. Right, the next thing he remembers is waking up the next morning in like a fresh change of clothes on the couch. Because what happened was he got so fucking munted that my grandmother had to drive him home, and he puked on himself on the way home. And then my grandmother changed him and said, "You're not fucking sleeping in my bed." Right, and splayed him out on the couch. Yeah.
Look, I don't think you've lived until you've woken up on the couch in a fresh change of clothes with no idea how you got there.
Yeah, like that's
in your adult years.
That was
my
does
youth.
It count if it's my 18th birthday, like literally my 18th birthday.
I think it's it's only. I feel like it's only a rule.
Borderline.
Red alert warning is when you've woken up in fresh underwear and you're like, how? Like these are new bonds. Like this has got fresh elastic. Like someone bought me this. There's a receipt on like next to my bed. How did they get there?
That's a good one. Yeah. I like that one. That's an effort.
When you crash at your best mate's house and their mother goes out and buys you fresh jocks. That is living.
That's amazing.
Is that a true story?
No, I've been over at my friend Wayne's house where like I've spilt like we've done cruiser challenges back in the day and I poured like 12 cruisers into a jug, and I'm essentially trying to chug the whole thing. And I was wearing a white Tommy Hilfiger shirt, and it just went all over it, like bright red raspberry, just
standard,
all over it. And I gave my shirt to Glenda, Wayne's mum, lovely woman. Shout out Glenda, you're the best. And within the hour, she had it fully cleaned, whitened, and pressed.
Oh, mums are the best, man.
Oh my god!
You don't get that treatment. Like you don't get that treatment in public. Like you have to go to like a real family home where like you know the family, and then you actually get the full treatment.
And it's never your own family. No, it's always your mate's family.
They don't care. My family don't care about.
They could not give a shit about my clothes.
Iron clothes or not. Like
fucking brilliant.
Oh my god! Waking up in new underwear though, I feel like is kind of a really perfect segue to the other big thing that's happening at the moment in the world, besides the AFL Grand Final, of course.
Woo.
And that is, as at the time of recording today, right now, the Area 51 raid is going down. And now we talked about it a little while ago. We talked about it a few episodes ago.
Ricki was a bit sad because he wasn't
here.
You were
sad.
Ricki was upset.
I pitched the idea of doing a conspiracy theory episode, and then you just would like, oh, let's do it next fucking recording without me being there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You go to hell.
So,
but I'm here for the fallout, so it's fine. I'm here for the memes. The memes.
You're here for the memes, and the best thing at the time, I was like, oh my god, I don't want to do this, and I really didn't at the time. Like that, I still stand by what I said. And in fact, I the reason why I bring it up today though is because I feel vindicated, right? I have a sense of like I was right and the world was wrong, and it's very rare that you can like stand before the world and show it the middle finger and be and do so with a sense of righteousness.
You had a Nostradamus moment.
I really did, yeah. Right, get fucked, Dave. Like this is my Youngstradamus moment. Right?
Good moment.
So. What I said in that episode was, right, 2 million people signed up for the event. I said, there's no way 2 million people are going to show up. And everybody was like, no, there's no way there's going to be 2 million people. And so we said, so the real question is then, what's the real number? And people were saying, about 1,000 people, maybe 1,000, 2,000 people.
Will be at the gate.
Will be at the gate. And this is what we're talking about specifically, at the gate, right?
Like, people can rock up.
People
town.
Can rock up to Las Vegas and stand in the middle of Vegas and be like, let's clap them alien cheeks. And it's sort of like, well, yeah, but you're standing on the strip. Like you and everybody else is saying, let's clap them alien cheeks. Right. But at the actual gate itself, people were predicting 1,000, 2,000 people. I said less than 100. I said specifically less than 100 people. And I said that that a significant number of that 100 would be journalists and YouTubers. Now, I've been trying to collate reports from all over the joint. It's a bit hard because a lot of major news outlets aren't actually there on the ground. They're pulling it in from ringers and stuff, and like they've got like people on the ground, like freelancers and stuff there.
Yeah, it's like regional Nevada was like, oh my god, we can send field reporters out to this. We have something to talk about. Yay!
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. The local,
and then every big network's just like, yeah, we'll pick up their stories.
exactly.
Fuck them.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to pull all this from. But from the best I could tell, at 3 a.m. on September the 20th, 2019, in just outside of Las Vegas, at the Area 51 base, at the gate, there were 75 people. Right. And
At 3 a.m. is pretty solid, though.
That's the scheduled time of the event.
Oh, true,
3
yeah.
a.m. So I'm saying at 3 a.m. there were 75 people with a
75
bunch of
heroes.
75 heroes.
75 internet heroes.
And
like, let's be honest.
and nobody gave specific numbers. This is based on what I saw from the photographs and me just kind of roughly counting it out in my head.
Yeah.
About 15 to 20 journalists and YouTubers.
There was a lot of vlogging cameras.
There was a lot of vlogging cameras,
I
but
did
I also
see.
saw
Hey,
guys.
I saw a lot of like freelancers there as well with a lot of freelancer equipment, like paparazzi style gear.
Yeah.
So, like, what the specific split is in that, I don't know, and I don't think it's worth knowing. My point is
I'd
that
say 50 people genuinely showed up, and then 15 people showed up to document the dickheads.
exactly. So
A lot of people saying like, follow, and subscribe. I can imagine.
yeah.
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 It's a lot of the.
Well,
hey,
or,
guys.
clap them cheeks.
Yeah. So like I do remember seeing one quote from a YouTuber and he was like it's just a wicked good scene, bro, or something he said.
Yeah.
So-
So there was also like the alien stock celebration that was like off, like way away from the nearest town to Area 51,
which is
like
Rachel, Nevada.
yeah, which is still fucking ages away from the actual base, but
Yeah.
there was a few thousand there.
Yeah, there's about 1,500. There was about 1,500 people there, and that's one of the so after the Facebook event meme became a thing and went viral, the guy who created the event got in contact with like area like event promoters and stuff who basically capitalists have gotten into meme culture because they've realized you can make a shitload of money on it.
Well, yeah.
And they've gone, hang on a minute, like you just made this fucking joke, but you got 2 million people in on the joke. Can we convert this into dollars? Right? And so they created an event. Right, and it was going to be out in Rachel, and they had—I can't remember the name of that event, but they were going to have it at it was called the Ali Inn. Hotel.
Yeah.
is the name of it.
Brilliant.
It's an RV park and hotel type of little joint, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool place. Like if you go there, and they lean into the alien gimmick hardcore, right? And you go there, and like, oh, the truth is out there, and they got alien themed shit. And
Surely,
it's an RV park.
like the immediately surrounding town of Area 51 has to have alien gimmick of
yeah,
some
absolutely.
kind.
Yeah, they all do. They all do.
And
right?
you know Roswell does it as well.
Oh, Roswell is the gimmick.
Yeah,
yeah.
The name it almost is like synonymous with
Yeah.
aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and of course like so all the towns and also it's the closest public it's the closest public building to the closest building open to the public to the Area 51 base itself.
Yeah.
Right. Is the Ali Inn or the
They-
Ali Inn.
Yeah. They were actually freaking out. Initially.
They were shitting bricks because like they've got capacity for like 100 200 people. Not 2 million.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. It'd be Woodstock. It just can be a complete
But they were
fucking
also
shit
like,
show.
even if it's not 2 million, even if it's like a couple thousand.
There's
Yeah,
over
it was gonna be a
100,000 people in a small country town. It can't be done.
Exactly.
No.
Well,
They
the
don't
mayor
have the facilities.
Yeah, no, the mayor of Rachel was shitting bricks. He was like, "We literally don't have the infrastructure to support this many people."
What if these people actually show up?
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't like, and like
That's the thing about meme culture. You don't know.
No, you don't. And that's what the mayor and the FBI contacted the guy who created the event, and it wasn't like, oh, we want to talk to you about like raiding federal land. They were just like, no, bro, like, are you okay? Like, you've got 2 million people. Like, you went viral, mate. Like, are you okay? Because there's a lot of fucking crazy people who have signed up to this event, and we're worried about your safety.
Is this the most successful meme ever? Like 2 million people initially on the Facebook event.
so
it
like,
made mainstream
a
news.
A transition into like the real world.
Yeah, into
Yeah.
like this like concept that we consider like traditional mainstream media.
Yeah.
Like,
It's up there.
48 like 24-hour news cycle kind of like thing.
Absolutely, I think
It's
up
got to be
there.
the most successful
But like,
meme of all time.
I think it's the most successful meme just on a dollar basis, to dollar value basis.
Yeah.
It's the one that's translated into hard cash. Because like I said, so for the creator of the
Fire
event,
Festival, if you really want to count that as a meme.
Ooh,
Yeah,
no,
no,
Festival
but-
didn't start as a meme.
Became
though.
a meme
It became
after
a meme
the
after the fact.
What about Gamer Girl Bathwater? Did that get much mainstream coverage?
Ooh.
No, it did. It didn't get mainstream.
It got good gimmick meme coverage from like
Yeah.
people like us.
Yeah. But I don't. I think
That didn't make the news. Yeah. So
Like
Yeah.
like this meme, this Area 51 meme, genuinely made.
I'm
like,
looking
news.
at
And, like,
an article
government
about it.
institutions actually reached out.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've got 2 articles up. One from ABC News here in Australia, and one from the BBC. Right, the BBC, okay, the British
Slow news,
Broadcasting Corporation, right? This is like these are the fucking English fuckers with monocles, and they're like, fears that thousands of people could storm Area 51 on Friday were unfounded, with just several dozen arriving at secretive US military base. Like that's how you're supposed to read this.
That's what
the
say.
BBC article.
Charlie Pickering made I guess a statement like not long ago saying that the SBS or BBC have a very particular news reading voice.
yeah.
Yeah.
You try use very high descriptive words and make sure that you talk like you're talking the back of your throat and that everything around you is also terrifying but intriguing at the exact same time.
Yeah. Like
And you try and
Yeah,
keep
that- yeah.
monotone
Walter Cronkite.
the whole way through.
millions had responded to a Facebook post in June calling for people to.
Fuck, that is such the voice. That is the voice. God damn.
You can't put any consonant on it. You're going to do a flat line.
I gotta read this line though in this voice because it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Just I need a minute.
Right, compose.
Millions had responded to a Facebook post in June calling for people to raid the facility in Nevada on 20th.
Nah, he's lost
Come
it.
He was
We
almost
believe in
there.
you.
Damn it, John.
We
He
believe
was
in you.
almost there.
Should we give him a
All right,
second chance?
Take two. This is good content.
Is it something about clapping alien cheeks?
I try.
Clapping alien cheeks.
Yeah.
All right, no one look at him. No one look at him.
Okay.
Millions had responded to a Facebook post in June calling for people to raid the facility in Nevada on 20th of September to, quote, see them.
No, he's lost it again.
Come on, you're losing it at the punchline.
Well, I know what the punchline is as well.
Okay,
but-
here we go. Okay.
This is your third and final.
To raid the facility in Nevada on 20th of September to, quote, see them aliens. End quote.
See them aliens.
Damn, I thought it was we see
See-
them aliens.
See them aliens. See them aliens. It's like, can you imagine like a
I'm
really
just imagining
proper
him
British person
physically
saying
reading
that?
it. And it's just like, see them aliens.
Yeah.
Like with the quotes done with his head going.
Yeah,
"Mm."
but that's what you have to say that in a like see them aliens. Like you have to be a real proper voice like that. Oh,
But
fuck,
I can
that's so
imagine people at Area 51 just buying lots of dry ice just to like make the mystical.
I'd love to know what was going through their heads of the people actually working at Area 51.
Yeah, it's been like, what do
when
we
those
do,
70
bro?
people showed up like, fuck, I didn't actually
All we
think
have is
70 cunts would
just
show up.
helicopters painted matte black. That's all we have here. Like,
Yeah.
And they're just chilling at base like, oh yeah.
So, I mean,
They actually did it.
there were like they got so the county that it's in, like I don't know what the name of the county is, but they brought in an extra 300 like law enforcement personnel just to surround the base. So like the Air Force basically didn't do anything.
It is
It's an
the
Air
most
Force base,
successful
right?
meme of all time.
Yeah, it is the most successful meme of all time.
Yeah,
and
it's got to be.
Actually, I would say so in terms of safety as well, because so far only like one person has been arrested, and they got arrested. And I'm talking on the day itself. The day before, a person was arrested for trying to breach the gate. At 3 o'clock in the
He
morning,
was trying to Leroy Jenkins it.
He was trying to Leroy Jenkins.
There's always one
always
in the party.
Hey, Jenkins!
There's always one in the
And we
party.
knew this. We knew, like, I even called that. I said, there's going to be one fucker that's going to try it.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next morning, another person was arrested, but they weren't arrested. Okay, I'll tell you what. Another person was arrested at Area 51 at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
What were they doing? David.
Clapping alien cheeks. I reckon he got successful.
He got successful clapped alien cheeks, you reckon? Lucky.
And they just didn't want that to get out.
Go to Ricki. I'm
Go to Ricki.
So it was one person.
One person, they got arrested
Uh-huh. All right.
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Public masturbation.
Public masturbation.
Post clapping alien cheeks. Yeah.
Right.
Or pre-clapping alien
Pre-clapping
cheeks.
alien cheeks.
Pre-clapping
Yeah.
alien cheeks.
You got to clear the pipes.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually.
before you clap them
well, that's a
alien
whole
cheeks.
other discussion.
Uh-huh.
Can't think of anything funny, but like,
Think of something true. It might be
That's
funny.
right, give us
In
a
context, it
true
might be
answer.
hilarious.
You might be able to take it away.
You might get it right.
setting up camp. I don't know.
Setting up camp. Okay.
He was just a little bit too loud.
Ricki was actually the closest.
Okay.
How was I not the
It
exact
was-
same with Ricki?
Because you were talking about intercourse
he's-
and he was talking about autoeroticism.
Yeah, fair enough.
It
Yeah.
was public urination. The dude was pissing on the fence.
Oh no, that's
Dude,
a
I'd
move.
take that. I'd
And he
put
was-
it on the fence.
He was detained and then later released the
Okay.
same day.
Because the minute when you said it wasn't a couple, I'm like, because I could imagine like just going there and being
Oh,
like,
yeah,
yes,
scallywag.
we fucked in front of Area 51. We have peaked in our.
Oh
fucking,
my God.
Oh, there's a discussion.
Because porn stars are trying to like get in on meme culture for that kind of stuff.
They are.
You want to talk about porn getting in on meme culture? Have you heard that Bang Bros wants to buy out an arena in Miami?
Yeah.
What's it called? Bang
It's
Bros.
the-
And they want to
Arena.
call it the Bang Bros Center, the
Yeah.
BBC.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like I think it's like it's one of the basketball one of the stadiums.
One of the
in-
basketball stadiums.
stadiums, and it's like its naming rights are up, and they're just like, well, we'll buy it. We got money.
They put in a petition of 10 million to name it. The Bang Bros Center.
Oh my God.
Love it.
BBC.
Can you imagine fucking Monday Night Raw rolling through, coming to you live
Coming right from the
Bang
BBC
Bros
Center.
Center. We are sold out here at Monday Night Raw.
Watch a bunch of sweaty, angry men at the Big Bro Center for Monday Night Raw.
Gives a new meaning.
Come
to the
back
word
next week
Raw.
more at the BBC.
Yeah.
God damn, that's fucking fantastic. I'm guessing they said no.
I don't know.
Dude,
Hold on.
say in Miami.
I'm going to Google it right
Dude,
now.
Maybe
Miami's-
not.
Miami's
Maybe not
like a
Miami.
shot.
Exactly. Like,
Oh, this
When
is
it-
a risky
when-
Of all the cities,
when,
yes.
when it comes to value, like personal values, I feel like Miami people could probably get away with it a little more.
Miami's got to be the loosest of
Let's-
all the cities in America.
let's just assume that there is like one bloke that owns like the actual stadium, and he gets to like name the stadium. But like that is like the best, like the Florida Man meme of like Florida Man names stadium Bang Bros arena, like Bang Bros Center or whatever. Like
Bang
that is
Bros Center.
that is like I think the peak of like the Florida Man fucking.
There was a fucking gimmick that was out about a month ago where it's just like there's enough Florida Man content out there that if you just type in your date of birth,
Yeah.
and just type in Florida Man, there's something for it.
Mine was really, really sad. Have you not done it?
No, I haven't. I'll do it now. You
do
talk
it.
about yours, I'll do mine.
Mine was really, really sad.
Wait, so what do I do? Just type in.
So you type in your date of birth and then Florida Man, and there'll be like a Florida Man article. Yeah, mine was a guy drowned, and 3 kids watched him drown instead of doing anything about it. So mine sucked. Mine was not a fun one. But yeah, the Florida Man meme is up there. Like that has to be like, is that what? Okay, would you say the Florida Man was something that became a meme, or is a meme in itself and is actually like a mainstream sort of thing?
Oh, what do you mean? Like,
Well, because like it.
so obviously
it's-
the first
it's
time that they did, Florida Man, like it didn't start as
Mine's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like-
exactly. So it started as like a mainstream news thing, and then the internet's co-opted it and been like, okay, the Florida Man thing is a meme because there's just so many ridiculous stories that start with Florida Man.
Mine is Florida Man attacked mum with sausages.
Mine's naked Florida man chases couple around Chick-fil-A.
I can't find one. Am I doing it right? I don't even know if
So
I
just
just
like
typed in Florida man 24th of September.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So not the year.
no, not you.
No, no,
just,
not you,
just
not
like
you.
just like yeah, the
Literally your birthday.
day, month, and
Okay,
then Florida
hang on.
Man. There'll,
Alright,
there'll
here
be
we go.
something fantastic, undoubtedly. Yeah, what do we got? What
Here
do
we
we
go.
got?
Hang on, I got to bring up because it's a long article, but just the long headline, but the start of it's a fucking ripper. Hang on. So this is from the Tampa Bay Times, right?
Good on you, Tampa.
Citing the source.
Uh-huh.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Got to give him because it's a fucking good headline. I've got to give him credit, right? Deputies say 450-pound Florida man hit coke pot under fat farts with video. There's a video of this guy. Holy
Oh,
shit!
dear
Do you
Lord.
reckon there's like it's genuinely on these days Florida Man has done something, or has it become that much? Because I just read it was the Florida Man challenge. Like,
Yeah.
is it a meme where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, there actually wasn't that many Florida Man stuff, but Florida Man is the meme.
No.
I'd like to believe that there's
I,
actually been
I used to-
365 days of Florida Man bullshit.
No, there is, but it's been going for years. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, you'll have like years where there's gaps, and then like the next year we'll fill in those gaps
Yeah.
for you. But like I've been following this for probably like 5 to 6 years now, because one of my favorite YouTube channels, they do like a weekly news roundup of just all the bullshit, and like the last 15 minutes of the news roundup is just headlines. And they started noticing the pattern a few years ago. Just like every single week, there would be at least 50% of their news headlines would be
Florida man.
And one of the guys is actually from Florida. So he fucking loves it because he's just like, I moved from there to LA. I fucking, thank God I got out of there. But my God, the shit that's going down while I'm not there is insane.
Well, see, statistically, the shit that's going down in Florida is no crazier than anywhere else in the United States. The difference is that the state of Florida has laws has some really unique laws surrounding the release of this information. They make it all public.
Yeah.
So like it's not so it's not just like there are certain states where like mugshots are made public as well, and there are people make magazines, mugshot magazines, where they'll just publish those mugshots.
Dude,
right?
a dude got a modeling contract from a mugshot that
Dude
went
got a
viral.
modeling contract. Yeah, exactly.
Then he died.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same guy?
He got
Is
stabbed
that
in
like the
prison.
super handsome?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like he was
yeah, like he
yeah.
was like viral for being
They're like, man,
hottest
they should-
mugshot.
Yeah, he got
You
stabbed
should-
in the face and he's dead.
yeah.
he got-
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So his face ain't so pretty anymore, is it?
Yeah, fetch.
and then Florida takes it that one step further, where they make the whole case public. Right? They make they make large amounts of the case public, right? Like before it goes.
It just
to
sounds
trial.
like Florida doesn't have that much news naturally.
would you
So it's just
say-
like Florida man does. Oh,
Look,
okay.
dude, it's fucking hot there. It rains all the fucking time.
Oh, I don't blame them
And,
for doing what they do.
There is nothing to do.
Yeah, it's just
It's like you gotta find your own entertainment there. It's like living in a chuka.
It does
The
certainly.
Chuka man does.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, there's been some Echuca mans.
you can imagine.
There's been some
Insert
Echuca mans.
country town here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's just the dumbest shit. Like the one big thing back home right now is RAM rating for ATMs.
What?
Right, so like you get your ute and you ram an ATM and
In like
try
a
and take-
sh-
Only a country town.
In like a shopping center, and you put a fucking chain around the ATM, and then you drag it out.
Yeah.
Like everywhere in town, I think at this point where there's like an enclosed ATM behind like a glass door has been RAM rated.
It just sounds like your first GTA mission.
Yeah,
Well, pretty much is.
that is a
They played the
Chuka.
first one and said, I can do this myself.
Yeah, a Chuka
they-
is a fucking GTA mission in itself.
And that's not just a uniquely Echuca thing. Like,
it's like every country town.
The
Oh,
trailer,
it's country town. Yeah.
the Trailer Park Boys movie did a whole gimmick on
Dude,
it,
when they
where they ram rated an
nothing
ATM.
beats the Trailer Park Boys is when they were making hemp and they hit it as like the driveway.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
like their
Yeah.
driveway was just hemp. That
yeah.
he was making like he was selling just like slabs of hemp to like all these sorry, not even it wasn't hemp, it was
No, it was hemp.
Was it hemp?
Yeah, it was hash.
Hash. Sorry, it's hash.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
Same thing.
So yeah, wax version of cannabis.
yeah.
Just like, but he like to hide it, he like coded it as his driveway, and then he would be like cutting out bits of his driveway, and then taking it to like the local high school and like selling it to kids.
Florida, man.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say, guys, was with all that stuff happening this year, what do you reckon the domestic Australian meme is? Because I reckon it's Egg Boy for this year.
Oh, it's got to be Egg Boy.
It's Egg Boy.
I can't think of anything else other than that.
Or maybe Engadine Macca's is probably the other one.
Ooh, what? Ooh, domestic meme.
Especially because the Prime Minister talked about Engadine Macca's.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? He's actually commented on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Fuck.
What was his comments? Do you know?
Basically, he was like, some shit went down at Engadine Macca's, but I won't say what shit went down.
He-
We're like, that's because it went down in your pants, buddy.
Yeah. I think like anything Batuta runs like more than 5 articles on, I think can be a pretty good contender for domestic meme of the year.
Oh, you've really put us on the spot because I can't think of anything.
Well,
other
I mean,
than
there
Egg
was-
Boy.
there was one that-
Because I thought Egg Boy is probably the most covered.
I mean,
Yeah.
Egg Boy there was one that flew under the radar that I only just found out about. Apparently, ScoMo posted a photo up with his like family, and his fucking Reeboks were a bit dirty. So someone did a really, really bad Photoshop job of putting Reeboks over
I
the top
love
of
the
his feet.
internet. The man innocently just has shit
Whoever
Reeboks on,
the fuck was in
and he's
his
fucking flamed for it.
yeah, whoever the fuck was in his like media,
Team
team or whatever.
just didn't pick up on it?
The fucking poor kid on the graphic design traineeship or whatever was like, yeah, no, someone's like, can you just like make his Reeboks a bit wider? And they're just like fucking badly Photoshop pasted.
Oh no, I have seen it.
Yeah, it's fucking
my
terrible.
God.
But I'm like, I wish that got more mainstream coverage because that is fucking hilarious.
I gotta.
The internet has no
it was-
chill.
So, it was,
No, I know.
So for people who are listening, they haven't seen the meme. It's literally photoshopped like brand new shoes,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, straight onto the PM.
And it's like, just who gives a fuck about your goddamn Reeboks when your policies are fucking shit out?
Bit of a tongue in cheek.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's
You got the photo?
Yeah, dude.
Post it on Pint Party.
It's
Yeah, we
so
got it.
It's so fucking shoddy.
It's so fucking bad because here's the thing, right? You can clearly tell that this is a product shot from like a Kmart magazine.
Yeah.
And
Like,
literally
the lighting is not right. There's nothing about
the
it
lighting's but like I mean they've covered his ankle with one of the feet.
Yeah.
It was a quick
It looks like
job.
Scott Morrison doesn't have an ankle.
Yeah.
He's missing a left ankle.
Yeah. But it's like, who cares? Who cares if your fucking shoes are dirty?
Yeah.
No one cares. It's fucking
Well, you know
Dude,
what
the internet,
no,
like
you know what
the-
you do? You just crop the photo just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been that hard.
Just don't
It's
put the
his
shoes in
feet,
there.
for fuck's sake.
Don't put the
It
shoes
doesn't
in there.
remove anything else in the photo. Like the
Anyone
kids-
half decent at Photoshop could have done a better job, but that's the gimmick
No,
of
you
it.
wouldn't bother. You just crop it. That's what I mean. Because the wife and the kids would still look great. Everything. It's a really beautiful shot. Otherwise,
I
it
wonder if
really
they
is.
just hire meme like current day meme laws to do all the political ads these days. It just does all the.
Well, I'm just gonna say Dan Andrews has like the best fucking Facebook and Twitter game going.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
no,
it's
Clive
obvious-
Palmer.
But it's obviously his. No,
yeah.
fuck Clive Palmer.
Fuck Clive.
But like no.
But in
like-
terms of like meme.
okay, stuff like
Yeah, he just buys up massive broadcasting blocks. And just like,
like Dan Andrews does the stuff like he had like had like all the different coloured public transport systems in Victoria,
Yeah.
and then like put the shapes next to it and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that was his team. Like it's not him, but whoever is like running his social media team is obviously like down with the kids. I hate myself for saying that, but like they know.
It's okay. You're in your mid-40s now.
Fuck off, cunt. But they know like how to sort of appeal to that generation of like, we need to get young people engaged, and the way to get people engaged these days is to post like shit post essentially on Facebook and Twitter, and he does a pretty decent job of it.
Yeah, he does.
he even takes shots at his own projects sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, for
Mate,
fun.
he straight up shit posts on himself. Like, he'll dunk on himself.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, fair cop. Like, if he does something dumb, he'll call himself out on it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and that's like the sort of thing that like you need to sort of attract young people to vote these days, is you kind of need to relate to them, and that's
Oh, yeah.
that's the way people like. I wouldn't be surprised to find something on Scott Morrison, not Scott Morrison, fuck him, Dan Andrews' socials about like the Area 51 thing. Like, I don't know if he has, but it would not surprise me if he had posted something like that, because he just seems like, well, his team.
He's got an
seems in
ear
touch
to
with what's
the. He's
going
got
on.
an ear to the ground with the people still.
Yeah.
As we were talking
Yeah.
in previous.
I don't think
episodes.
he'll have anything about Area 51 just
No.
because, like, what's going on in Victoria at about the same time as the big climate student strike thing.
Yeah, but I'm
and
just saying, I
that'll
wouldn't be
be
surprised
what
if he
gets.
had of-
Yeah.
That was huge.
That was-
150,000 in
was
the
it out
CBD.
Swan Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Massive.
outside Parliament, then they moved, I think. is
Yeah, it
what
was in
yeah.
Treasury Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was massive. Good on him.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say for a little bit of tongue in cheek, because we're talking about like how savage the internet is. There was a
Yes.
fucking meme I saw where it was just like, and it comes in like line with the climate change. Very genuine issue, obviously. But like the internet has no chill whatsoever. That the final meme that we would all see when the Earth is about to die, Ricki will get this, is fucking Shawn Michaels staring down Ric Flair. And it's just the Earth superimposed over fucking Ric Flair's face, and then just climate change over Shawn Michaels going, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then it just kicks him in the face. and that is the final meme the internet will give the Earth. We have no chill.
Oh my god.
Nothing is off limits for the internet right now. They're memeing fucking 6ix9ine's trial. Fucking Takeshi 6ix9ine's trial for being a snitch. He's on genuine racketeering charges and criminal offenses in the US Supreme Court, but the internet doesn't give a shit.
No.
Wait, Tekashi 6ix9ine's alive?
Yeah.
Damn.
He's in prison.
Yeah, he's currently in trial
I
for
thought
like
he died.
racketeering and criminal offenses.
No,
And
you're
he's just
thinking of,
snitching, right?
Triple X tend to.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Temptation.
Temptation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, they're all rappers with face tattoos and bad dreads, but
Yeah, no, I had, those were one and the same person.
But but
Yeah.
this is like the internet's meme right now. Like at this
Yeah.
current time, it's like they're just going to shit on 6ix9ine for being a snitch. The guy's on very serious charges, like
Yeah.
genuinely serious charges, but the internet does not care. Like there is nothing off limits for the internet, it seems.
No, well, I mean that's the thing with the Area 51 thing is like all the posts I've seen is like, this is what our generation will be remembered for. The history books will look back on this and tout us as the greatest generation of all time.
And you know what? We will actually.
But like it's that level of like and I think it comes back to like there was some bunch of studies done on like the depressed memes, the suicide memes, and shit like that. Like this generation has like
Self-deprecation is almost literally how we're raised.
No,
Yeah.
but it's also
Yeah.
a level of fatalism within.
Yeah.
Like, we'll make jokes about like death and stuff.
Yeah.
and being like, "Oh God, I wish I was like Area 51." One of the memes was sort of like, "Hey, so like, wait, 10,000 people are gonna rush a gate and get shot? Yeah, that sounds better than having like a 6-figure debt. Yeah, that sounds pretty good."
Yeah, stuff like that. Like it's this is how this generation just expresses itself in a way, because like we're the first generation to really have nothing else to do. Like there's no war, there's no like big thing that sort of occupies.
There's no global thing that's taking up
there's
everyone's
there's a bunch
attention.
of smaller things that sort of in a vacuum you look at them are gonna have more of an impact.
Well,
on
you'd
the world
argue
like
than
the climate
ones that
change
it's going to be
people-
climate change.
It's like
now.
it's climate change.
It's the
It
war
is-
against ourselves.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. But it's there's no great big
A
thing
war
and because
against
of like
big business is
Mm.
like
yeah, and because of like the 24-hour news cycle, stuff comes in and out of the news so quickly, so no one can latch on to any one thing in a big way. Whereas like back when it was like World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all that sort of stuff, that was all that occupied the news. Every bit of media had something to do with that event. Whereas now it's just like we're still in a fucking war in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, there are wars.
but like it doesn't create the same traction.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And like people just, oh yeah, we are still okay, cool. And then you
But
move on with your fucking
an
life.
oil spill in the Great Bight man, that creates some traction, right?
Yeah, for 2
Like,
weeks and then it's gone.
yeah,
again.
that right?
Exactly. So it's just like that sort of like level of just like moving on and just sort of being like it's background noise. All this stuff that would have been huge 30 years ago, 40 years ago is just background noise now. And then we sort of like fill in that those gaps with just like entertaining ourselves, but in like the weirdest
Just twiddling
fucking
our
ways.
thumbs in
Yeah,
a
but
way.
like we have just developed this I guess really fucked up sense of humor where it's just like
It's because we are
we just-
desensitized.
we
to
are
just
yeah
about
we are
everything.
somewhat desensitized and we just like we try to push each other's boundaries in a way, and that's how like these memes and these internet sort of trends get more fucked up. But then like something that was fucked up, like okay, 2 girls 1 cup, right? That was a meme 10 something years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Who gives a shit now? Like,
Yeah.
but like if that came out now,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be as big of a deal as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
We would be desensitized to something
Yeah.
like that by now. So it's like it's just getting pushed further and further and further and further towards this like
I mean, you'd make an
Weird.
argument that because we went through those big fucked up wars, which then trailed off to like Iraq and all that kind of stuff,
And now- yeah,
that
now
helped desensitize us.
yeah, exactly. Like,
To a point where now we can just argue like this conflict in Syria, all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
we're so desensitized to this
because the
violence now.
you're just checking. It's like
The
Gaza Strip
topic
still
was-
fucked up. Yep, cool. Move on
The
with life.
topic was so heavily bombarded in media, like when we were growing up. So all we obviously we're desensitized to the idea of war, but because we didn't see it, we only saw it on our screens. So you get that separation of realism from it, but you still understand the concept. So we understand what war and violence is. So we can take it. We can process the feelings that goes towards it without flipping out. But I think it'd obviously be different if we're in Iran or more of a war
where it was directly affecting us.
directly affecting.
Well,
us,
then
exactly.
you make the argument, the counter argument of like, because we have this access to 24 media, this beautiful access like globally to everything, the fact that like if we were to like put ourselves back in like the 40s, right, and say like, obviously there were so many wars well before the First World War between like internal struggles between different countries and all that kind of stuff. But because that one was so publicized and documented that throughout history, we've kind of looked back on it and just gone, don't do that, that's bad. Now we exist in a generation where eventually we're going to be the leaders. We know that war is bad, so we're not going to necessarily go and seek it out. Right? It's because we're that
I would
desensitized.
hope not.
That's the hope for it.
Well,
because
yeah.
look at the leaders back then. Their knowledge really was just written in books and it wasn't much access. They didn't really have the grasp of just how powerful war was. And then it became the World War.
Well, then you get politicians coming from different streams from occupation and stuff like that. So you're not getting
Yeah, it's true.
just politicians now. You're getting business people who obviously have more of a financial background and can look at the events and issues in policy today with more of an objective look, and that's where you get people like for Australia probably who was before ScoMo. Can't believe that.
Oh, we literally had this discussion
Malcolm
yesterday.
Turnbull.
Malcolm Turnbull.
Malcolm Turnbull is obviously considered to be a fantastic economic manager, and I think for the time we needed that, but he's not going to put the social issues in front because that's obviously just like the liberal agenda. Whereas I think maybe more of the Bill Shorten stuff, they will be focusing more on the environmental issues and stuff.
I was going to say it's still an economic war, but in the context of climate.
That's
now.
it. It's
Yeah.
more it's adding that social trope or value to whatever we're dealing with, so that people feel like they have more of an obligation to listen in and voice their opinion.
Well, the war is afoot. 150,000 the other day.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's now here.
They have to look at that definitely.
Yeah.
Do you know what the
They can't-
number for New York was?
No.
I think it was million plus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
fucking huge.
It's like it's very, very big.
But
And
it's
prevalent.
a strong
saw
grief
Berlin was
movement.
enormous
It's
too.
it's like no, it's like we don't want this in 5 years, 10 years. We want this like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well, we only have like, was it 12 years they said?
11.
Yeah, 11? Fuck, that's even worse.
They said
Um,
12 last year. That's what I mean. We're
Oh,
at
okay,
11.
right. So yeah,
we're at 11
We're
now.
down to 11. The ticking clock is started.
And it'll be 10 years next year.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
And that's at the point where it becomes irreversible.
that's the point.
Yeah.
We're
Not-
still,
not
we're-
only
we're in the-
irreversible-
we're in the red zone.
We're in the It not only becomes irreversible, but like we approach like we basically convert Earth into Venus.
Yeah, yeah.
At that point, is the problem.
How are they defining irreversible? Where we just don't naturally produce resources.
In that
to
even
counter.
even if we went to zero, like at that point, that what's going to happen to the environment's going to happen anyway. Like at that point, you tip.
Oh
over the
yeah, I know.
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where right now we can kind of mitigate how bad it's going to get. Like if we stop,
It'll still be bad, but it won't be like
Yeah.
okay, death of all humans bad.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
If we don't do much, it is death of all humans bad.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
becomes
we
an
get another ice
extinction level event.
age.
Hype.
And then Earth's like, I'm doing dinosaurs again.
We're starting that again.
It's the fucking Little Dicky quote from Pillow Talk. Just like, what was God thinking? Like, putting dinosaurs on this bitch.
That's what, what Jim Jeffries is just like. The Earth doesn't want you. When we leave, the Earth's going to be like, I'm doing dinosaurs again.
Dinosaurs Part 2. Fuck. Humans had their run.
Yeah.
You fucked up. Time they hit the reset button, bring dinosaurs
I honestly
back.
think if we all die, crocodiles and alligators will still be.
Well, no shit, crocodiles lived through the fucking ice age.
They've been here for fucking ages, man. They're not going anywhere.
They've been here for millions and millions.
It's going to be them and the Boyds.
The Boyds.
The Boyds. The Boyds will fly and the crocs will swim and we'll all be fucking food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of okay with that at this point.
Yeah, so am I.
And I think we'll wrap it up there.
A little solemn note. To hit
Yeah, a
this.
little
solemn
solemn
note. Yeah, a little sad note.
Fucking recycle, you bastards, please.
Just fucking put.
Buy a Cape Cup.
Just
Right? As we sit here with like 2 disposable coffee cups. Whoops.
yeah.
Hey, you've got a reasonable water bottle.
I've got a reasonable water bottle.
Good man.
Yeah.
Be green, guys.
Woohoo.
Buy a keep cup and just put it in the fucking recycling bin. Like that's it. Like look
Yeah,
for the little.
that's it. Just
Spend
recycle.
5 seconds. Look for the triangle and put it in the correct bin. Like that's all you got to do, dude.
Get some of them
ain't that
LED
hard.
globes and
Yeah,
switch to
and-
solar.
and-
The
get a-
government's even
and get a
giving them out
shop-
for free. You can
I
get
know.
free LED globes.
Make sure you stick with your shopping bag for life, guys.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'll admit openly, like, that's such a difficult one
Just
for
keep
me.
them
Are
in
you
your
se-
boot.
I know. But I like Jason and I,
Use
we
your
like
hands.
we say it all the time. We throw it into the back of the boot, and then like we just forget. Like we walk into the shopping center and there's like a bag with that, and we're like, damn it, shit. Yes, but I swear to God, we're not going to buy them next time. Lo and behold, 3 days later. But yeah, no.
Look, hey, we all do it.
I know. Yeah,
It
look, I'm
occasionally
not the
happens.
only one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I should literally.
But then I try start tactically putting them in my jacket pocket and like start to spread out the goods.
No,
I
I
just put them
I've
in the
got.
bottom of my fucking bag.
Yeah,
That's if I don't have a bag. If I usually have a backpack with me.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, like do that, and like I always have the green bag with me now, but I walk, so I don't. So like, if I leave the house, it's
if
like,
you're
oh,
having
I'll
a
grab it.
jacket, you could literally turn that into a little knapsack if you,
You
really
can,
wanted
yeah,
to.
and I have done that too.
Turn it into-
MacGyver that shit.
Turn it into a hobo bindle.
That's exactly.
That's it.
On me merry way.
I got my bean. I'm heading home.
That's right. Yeah, it's a good way. So yeah, there we go. That's a bit more.
That's a bit more higher note.
And now we are on a high note.
Hey.
So I want to thank my guests today for joining me for this sort of very timely episode of Pint Party. I want to thank David Yang, Ricki Needs, and Lachlan Beasley for joining me. Thank you, boys.
No
you.
problemo.
And this, and if you like this episode, please tell a friend about it. Download an episode onto their Spotify or onto their iTunes or wherever you like to get podcasts.
Steal their phone.
Steal their phone and just be like,
Hit that follow button
and just hit that follow button and be like,
on,
give you-
on
like, bitch, you need
Instagram
to get
and
on this-
Spotify, and if you're on Apple, please give us a 5-star rating.
yeah, write a review on
Apple
iTunes.
Music.
I promise I will eventually get around to reading them.
We'll shout out the funny ones.
Yeah. Well, we said that literally episode 1, and like I promise I'll do it today. I will do it today. I will check iTunes today. I promise. And with that, this has been Pint Party. Cheers.
Cheers.
This podcast is part of the Hartefact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to hartefactstudios.com.au.